إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Indeed, my dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, all praise and glory is due to Allah Azza. We praise Him, we glorify Him, we seek His aid, and we seek refuge with Allah Azza from the evil inclinations of our own souls and from the evil inclinations of our own actions. And whomsoever Allah Azza guides, none can misguide, and on the contrary, whomsoever Allah Azza misguides, none can ever guide. And I bear witness and I testify that there is no deity except for Allah Azza alone, Al-Wahid, Al-Awwal, Al-Ahad, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his final servant and messenger. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار والعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, in the spirit of following the tradition of our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as he spent over the first decade of his prophethood establishing Tawheed. You remember we talked about this, right? And so we embarked on the same journey, something similar inshallah, to study the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal and to dedicate learning about Allah Azza wa Jal in the spirit of fortifying our understanding of Tawheed. And so the last time we started with the glorious names Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and today inshallah we will continue with Al Malik. Allah Azza wa Jal refers to Himself as Al Malik in 5 instances of the Quran. In 5 occasions of the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal, He refers to Himself as Al Malik. Al Malik means the king, the owner of dominion, the one who has ultimate dominion and sovereignty over all things, each and every single thing. And we're going to study about Al Malik today. We're going to learn about how we can honor Al Malik by this specific attribute. The more of his attributes that we start to connect with Azza wa Jal, the idea is that we know him better so that we may improve our ibadah, so that when we stand in worship, when we call out to him, we at least start to establish some understanding of truly how great he is. Allahu Akbar. Linguistically, my brothers and sisters in Islam, Al-Malik has the attribute of mulk. Mulk, it points to power and ability, right? So Allah Azza wa Jal, for example, in Surah Al-Mulk, He says, تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ الْمُلْكُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Blessed is he who is the Malik, to whom belongs all the dominion, and he is over all things powerful. وَعَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Just this one phrase, this one word, my brothers and sisters in Islam, when we start to learn about this one phrase, وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ, this is above all, we have to internalize this within ourselves, my brothers and sisters in Islam, because this is the route to achieving tranquility in our lives. We're going to talk more about the importance of tranquility in general. But there's a hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and this is going to lead into the meat of our khutbah today. On the Day of Judgment, Allah Azza wa Jal, this is going to be a humbling moment for everyone, but the extreme power behind this, just try to imagine this. On the Day of Judgment, Allah Azza wa Jal, He's going to grasp the earth with one hand. And He's going to fold up all the 7 heavens in His right hand. Understand what a powerful statement this is, my brothers and sisters in Islam. In a previous khutbah, we talked about the size of an entire Jannah. One of the levels of Jannah being the size of an entire universe, right? And what did we say an entire universe comprises of? It comprises of billions of galaxies, right? And we live in what's called the Milky Way galaxy, which is comprised of an entire solar system of all the planets, right? Imagine billions of those galaxies comprising a universe, and there are 7 of those heavens. Allahu Akbar. All rolled up in one hand. Just take a moment to understand what that really means, my brothers and sisters in Islam. We just say words and we're thinking, oh yeah. Understand the gravity of this statement. This can also be found in Surah AL Zummar Ayat number 67. When we started to talk about وَمَا قَدَرَ اللَّهِ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ, that they did not honor Allah Azza as He deserves to be honored. After all, this is what led to this entire series that we've started. That we do not honor Allah Azza as He deserves to be honored. Allahu Akbar. So we are going to spend time learning about His attributes, so that we may start to realize where we're missing. Why are we so deficient in honoring Allah Azza in our lives? So Allah Azza is going to do this, and He's going to proclaim, where are the kings of the earth? Where are the kings of the earth, and where are the tyrants? Where are those that were arrogant? Now listen to this, my brothers and sisters in Islam. This should serve as a warning. This is really a warning to anyone and everyone who is arrogant. This is not just to the so-called kings, the presidents, the rulers, the monarchs. This is not for them, just not alone for them. In some capacity, each and every single one of us have been given by Allah Azza wa Jal some degree of kingship. It could be to something as little as within our family, we have kingship within our families. This warning is for anyone who is an oppressor. When Allah Azza wa Jal establishes this amazing, extravagant scenario where He's going to grasp the entire earth in one hand and roll up all the 7 heavens in another hand, and He's going to say, where are you? Where are the kings? Those who were arrogant enough to think they had some capability during their lives on earth. Where are those that were oppressors? Where are those that were the tyrants? Think about this. This is a warning for each and every single one of us who might find ourselves being oppressive to others. In whatever situation we may be in. We may be righteous. We may be righteous externally. We may be establishing all salawat in the masjid, but when we behave with our families, we may be tyrannical. We may be arrogant. We may treat them as if they're second-class citizens. And we may do this with people to whom we feel like we have some authority over. Right? Let's evaluate each and every single one of ourselves on a consistent basis, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Allah Azza wa Jalla gives us general messaging. But each of the points of message, it is up to us to contemplate and see how it applies to us on our own individual level, based on our own individual circumstances, based on what it is that we are doing. Right? Because one advice doesn't generally apply to all. If we just say this is just for kings and tyrants, those that are the monarchs, those that are presidents who are establishing oppressive legislation and so on and so forth. No, it applies to us all. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, we have to understand this. One of the things about kingship, right, and about the concept of what we get consumed with in life, in dunya. Again, on some individual level, each and every single one of us are somehow in pursuit of some sort of dominion or some sort of kingship in this dunya. Whether it be at our jobs, we want to elevate our status, our position. In society, we want to elevate our status, our position. Whatever it may be. That is a pursuit of a type of kingship, some sort of sovereignty, right? And many of us, most human beings in general, and the state of this is continuing to get worse through each passing day. Our main focal point is the accumulation of material wealth so that what we may ascend our so-called artificial status in the dunya. The status in the dunya is artificial, my brothers and sisters in Islam, as it ties to anything material that we pursue. There is nothing wrong with being ambitious, don't get me wrong. We can all be ambitious. But the point is that that ambition has to directly correlate with our desire to connect to and please Allah Azza wa Jal. Nothing else. If our ambition is to just escalate on the social status, escalate in our monetary wealth, so that we may again acquire more material wealth so that we can show off for the sake of establishing this vision, this illusion that we have some authority, that we have kingship, this is just completely irrelevant, my brothers and sisters in Islam. And this is the problem, this is the disease that we find ourselves in. Right? We can be kings in our desires. So here's something to really contemplate. You know, desire. And desire is something that we've all have to whatever degree. And desire is something that Shaitan and all the shayateen, all of his minions, they know very well about. And they use this as a fuel to attack us. Desire can turn kings into slaves. Okay? And patience can turn slaves into kings. Let's understand this. If we are patient on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, if we are patient in pursuing the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal, if we are patient and we align all of our ambitions, whatever they may be, for the sake of somehow pleasing Allah Azza wa Jal. And again, we can escalate the corporate ladder, the social ladder, whatever it may be, but as long as whatever influence we are accumulating, ultimately it comes down to accumulating influence. And if we are utilizing that influence for what? For Shaitan or for Allah? It's that simple, my brothers and sisters in Islam. So if we are patient for Allah Azza wa Jal, we abide and adhere to His commandments Azza wa Jal, Allah Azza wa Jal will give us the true sovereignty and the true kingship in the Akhirah. Allahu Akbar. And not only that, He will also elevate our status in the dunya, right? Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 26, قُلْ إِلَّهُمَا مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُعْطِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُضِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Again, إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He gives dominion to whom He wishes and He takes it away from whom He wishes. And He gives the good to whom He wishes and He takes it away from whom He wishes, because He has power over all things. So our patience, my brothers and sisters in Islam, in aligning our desires to the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal, then can we be eligible, and then can we ask Allah, Ya Allah, let us be amongst those whom you bless with sovereignty and kingship in this dunya, so we can utilize that influence to please you, Ya Allah. We can utilize that influence to spread your good word, Ya Allah. Allahu Akbar. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, is that crystal clear? I think that makes it crystal clear that when we are finding ourselves completely consumed by dunya, and this happens to the best of us, this will happen, you will find in your job place, that you will get so consumed with work and you want to pursue to the point where you forget about Allah. You want to accumulate money so much you forget about Allah. You forget about our purpose for existence on this dunya. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وصلى الله عليه وسلم. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, the second part of our khutbah is dedicated to being just and justice, and 5 minutes is not going to suffice. But let's touch on this a little bit, right? Another way to honor Al Malik. Now, is to be just. Now here's the thing. Allah Azza wa Jal, by His divine ordinance, He has decreed authority to us over others. Let's understand what this means. There is something called fabricated authority. You know what fabricated authority is? Fabricated authority is a manager at a job, is a boss at a job place, a policeman or any other figure, legal figure, whatever. This is all fabricated authority as it comes to deen. Let me explain what that means. These people no doubt have authority for sure, and they have to be abided by for sure. You have to follow the rules. You have to honor and adhere to the laws of the land and all of that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something on which we operate on a very intrinsic scale. What does that mean? This means that when our boss calls or the police calls, we start shivering. We immediately leave what we have to go do what they ask us. Right? And we do this for the sake of this fabricated authority, because these other individuals don't really have authority over us, you understand? They may, yes, by whatever the laws are established, but on an intrinsic scale, Allah Azza wa Jal did not ordain them to have authority over us as human beings. You understand? But you know who does have authority over us? The authentic authority, parents over children. A husband over his wife, a wife over his husband, vice versa. In these instances, and we spent the last khutbah dedicated on talking about honoring parents, but where we have ordained authority, we don't behave the same way. When a husband calls his wife, the wife does not leave everything to go honor what her husband has to say. Same way around. We can't leave out the authority that the wife also has over her husband. So when the wife calls the husband doesn't leave everything to go cater to her needs. When the mother calls the son, he doesn't leave everything to go cater to her needs. The boss calls, I jump, go. A legal ordinance comes, leave everything, I have to go. You understand what I'm saying? We respond to this fabricated authority, but we lose sight of divine authority that Allah Azza wa Jal has bestowed upon each and every single one of us. I will leave with this one because it talks about equality, right? There are roles, especially in the household, between a husband and a wife. Let me just clarify this, and maybe we'll spend some more time talking about it next time. There is this stigma now in the modern times where women have this notion of what they want a husband to be. That a husband has to do this, 50-50. Everything is 50-50, right? Same way, men have this thing, okay, the woman has to do this and do this and do this, 50-50. And we start to get delusional to the point where this starts causing mayhem in the household, right? The wife says, well, I am doing XYZ, you need to do XYZ. You know, it doesn't work like that, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Equality doesn't mean that you play the same role, okay? Equality means Allah Azza wa Jal, for example, in a corporate setting, you may have two people of the same position, same level. One is a project manager, one is a technical lead, right? They have the same level, but they're doing different roles. They're equal, but they're doing different roles. But in modern times, in the household and domestic affairs, many a times we forget that a husband may have his role which is equal in complexity to what the wife does. The wife may just be taking care of either domestic or whatever that it is, but her role cannot be diminished. It is also very important that the husband has to respect. Just because they're not doing the same things does not mean they don't have equal importance in the role that they're playing in the household. You understand? So this equality is part of justice. Understanding this equality is part of justice in honoring Al Malik. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, maybe we'll elaborate more on this the next time. But inshallah for today, أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فإنه تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من وليت ولا يعز من أضيت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت وأقيموا الصلاة.